Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Mind, Your Reality, Your Results, a weekly live show where I speak with an expert in the subject of mindset so you can change your mindset and ultimately get the amazing results that you want in your life. I'm so pleased to be welcoming Shannon Procise to the show. Welcome, Shannon.
Yay, thank you.
Excellent. Well, you guys should be so excited for today. Shannon's just a font of knowledge and a wonderful person. So we're going to love the show. If we haven't met before, by the way, my name's Leah Fink. I'm the owner and founder of All Thrive, and I give people the skills they need to have amazing relationships, both personally and professionally. If you ever want to learn a little bit more about that, I would love to connect. So please reach out. But you are not just here for me today, you are here for Shannon. So please take advantage. Use the chat to comment, to ask your questions. Even if you're watching us and we're no longer live, you can use that chat box and we can get back to you with answers. So please reach out. So as we start, and is my favorite way to start the show, Shannon, do you want to tell us a little bit about how you got to be here today?
Yeah, so today there's obviously many amazing earth angels that helped me get here today. But the one story that tends to stand out really significantly for me was starting with a car wreck and was rear-ended. And when I got rear-ended, it ended up doing some serious damage. After months of therapy, ended up doing surgery which left me paralyzed in my left arm. And so from that, when I was paralyzed, they said, "Oh, you need another surgery." Didn't have the wherewithal, the money, the insurance, all that was ran out. And then I met somebody who said, "I think my husband can help you teach Qigong." And I just went with this idea of, okay, first off, I don't have any other option. But when I got there, I remember thinking, this is so strange. These are these ancient Chinese exercises. What do I have to lose? But the mindset, it was like, I can't lift my arm. And they're like, just imagine you can. And Lee, what was so amazing for me and what really got me just seeing all the wonders of the world was within 2 classes, I was able to start moving my arm just a few inches. Within 2 months, I've got full range of my arm. And it just really opened me up to how powerful our mind is and how many resources out there like Qigong that can help us with things that are not mainstream.
Wow. Well, that first of all is an amazing story. Thank you for sharing it. And just what a way to highlight like why I love this show. I love having guests like you on. Is it can be easy to listen to a show about mindset and be like, oh, well, that's for if little things are happening. You just have to be happy. But to hear, you were physically disabled in a way, and that's how powerful mindset was to be able to get you past that is just so inspirational. So thank you for that. And can I ask, how did that shift you, or how did you decide to apply that piece of mindset and growth to business owners particularly?
Yeah, so what it did was it got me really passionate to look at how there's all of these incredible modalities out there, but it's not mainstream. And so I started building networks and connecting with people and finding individuals that had these powerful resources and healing modalities and products, and from that started learning how to market and do events and wanting to fill the gap, because many of them were not good at what they were doing, right? Like they were, or not good at the marketing side of it or necessarily the business side of it, but I could come in and help them learn how to do events, learn how to do marketing, and really get their message out there in a way that more people would say, yes, I want to engage. I want to show up. I want to learn more.
Yeah. I love that. And, you and I have talked before about this concept of community as you've built. And I see this as an incredibly powerful skill of yours to bring people together, to raise them all together. So I just wanted to put that out there first, and to really dive into the topic today as well of how this piece of business and embracing it comes along with this mindset. And from what I understand, you have 6 kind of skills that you help people get to get to that point. you want to just start us off with some of those?
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to say, I love, when we were talking, the fact of what you bring to community. Like, I was just, before we got on here, it's like, oh my gosh, I need to bring you in, where you help people align with their, creating that shared vision. And that's so key in businesses and organizations to create that community. So thank you, Leah. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of skills that you bring. So the first piece that we work on, and it may seem so basic, but it's like it turns on the faucet, and that is mastering your elevator pitch. Being able to communicate quickly, clearly, and concisely in a way that benefits others. So I love the example of real estate. You go to real estate and a lot of people say, hey, I've been doing it for 30 years. I'm here in Brevard. I love listings. The normal thing that we hear at networking groups. And so I give the example of, when I used to sell real estate, I'd show up and I'd hold up the pieces of paper, the MLS listing, and I say, when is a good time to buy something? And people look at me funny. No, when is a good time to buy something? When it's on sale, right? And people would kind of look at me. This is interesting. I say, I have, if you're an investor or a first-time home buyer looking to tap into the $15,000 in first-time home buyer money, you want to talk to me. I have 3 properties that are really hot. I wouldn't say my name. I wouldn't say anything. And Lee, every single time somebody would come. And so I love working with people to craft that pitch, or, when we can craft that pitch, it makes the world of difference in accelerating their business. Well, the next thing, go ahead. No, I want to pause. So yes, go ahead.
No, it's great. I was going to say, it's such a powerful point because, running a business, I've been to many a networking meeting and heard many, I think that's people think of an elevator pitch as I'm going to tell you all about me. And that's what I've experienced with a lot of elevator pitches. And what I really loved about yours was, asking questions and getting that engagement. Like, does the person have the problem or the situation that I can help them with? So just even that first tip of when you're a business owner connecting with people, is it being effective? Like, people can audit this themselves. Have you gotten things from your networking, or has everyone gone, oh, that's nice?
Yeah. And the other thing that I don't know if you caught it in there, but I mentioned numbers, which is really powerful. And in this one, I was also able to mention money, and it was free money. So if we're offering something for free, or a giveaway, or a way to get to know you, any of those things can be really important. And a lot of times people will do free consults. So like, Lee, do you offer people strategy sessions where they can meet with you and learn more? Yeah. And so a lot of times we do this as part of our business, but we may not give voice to that. So it's really important to give voice to that so people can connect with, oh, let me learn more.
That is a fantastic tip right there. I'm thinking to myself, like, do I say that enough? So
let people know.
It's wonderful.
She does. She does.
I will. I'm going to switch my elevator pitch. Awesome. Well, do you want to lead us into tip 2 then?
Yeah. So tip 2 is collaborate and joint ventures. So we have grown up in a world where we're taught about competition. And competition is good against ourselves and in certain sports. But in business, I have found, and I have so many stories, that when we find people that may be potential, what we would call competitors, we need to change the word competitor to collaborator. Because you will find, much like me and Leah, I was like, oh my gosh, you do this and you do that. Like, she does so many things where for a community, it's so powerful. And so looking at where we can collaborate and joint venture, we can share in marketing expenses, we can share in our lists, we can share in lifting the load of work. I mean, there's so much we can do when we collaborate and joint venture.
Yeah, well, it's such a powerful point. And I don't know if other people have had this experience, but I went from a very social, closely bonded work environment to starting my own business and being a solopreneur. And I suspect a lot of the people that you help started or are solopreneurs and might also be in the same point of suddenly feeling a bit isolated and feeling like they have to compete with everyone. They can't have those close bonds or people that they're going to collaborate with, that they have to instead kind of guard their territory of what their business is. So for people to think instead of, well, there's another coach, and maybe client that doesn't match with me is going to match with them, and maybe their client that doesn't match is going to match with me. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I have. And there's a one piece of the collaborating with the same. Like one time we had, I think it was 6 hypnotists at an event I was running. And it was so beautiful because you could hear kind of the one-upping, well, I do this. And why, you know, that energy, Lee, have you ever felt that when you have people in the same industry? But what was so beautiful is I got them all together, and like one helped with non-stop smoking. One helped with weight loss. I mean, it was so beautiful. And they actually started their own association and really collaborated. But another piece is one with people you have in common, but sometimes people may feel limited in their resources. Like they might want to upgrade their technology. And a lot of times we can go to organizations that have specific technology and rev share. I'm not saying give up ownership. I'm not saying, those pieces, but a lot of times you can invite people into your business that have a missing element that you have and just really go to the next level. So there's some neat stuff that you can do when you collaborate in joint venture. Okay, number 3.
I really like that. Yeah, please. Number 3.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. So number 3, build your team of mentors and coaches. So I know that sometimes people are, they feel like they may be too busy working in their business, or they may be, that may be limited in resources, or that piece. I have to say it is vital. Every single person needs to have a coach, needs to have a mentor. For me, at one point, I had 9. I mean, I have multiple now. I really believe that, relationship, finances, parenting, like it's great to have that outside source that can be on your team that maybe has been there, done that can help you with that. So, like Lee, with you going in and building community, a lot of business owners are on their own, and they're, and they may want to elevate their culture to where people are giving more. What happens is, Lee, when you build community and you build culture, people will show up, they'll put in the extra time, they'll give ideas. I mean, it's like they take this sense of ownership. And so to have somebody that can support you while you're doing that, like you do, is such a great way to kind of lighten that load. And the investment is always worth it. I have to say that investment in ourselves and in our business, it's like we've got to have that on the budget. In everybody should have this as part of what they're doing. Not to shoot on people, but it's, it's a core thing.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Don't have a therapist who doesn't have a therapist, don't have a coach who doesn't have a coach. The reality too is right, it's so hard to gain more awareness of what's happening for you from just you with your knowledge that you have. I do truly believe that knowledge about yourself, weirdly, a lot of it has to come from the outside, from someone else pointing out something, from them giving you some new information or a new perspective. So yes, please, if you don't have mentors, groups, supports, coaches, please get them, put the money aside for it.
Absolutely. And there's other resources. I love SCORE and things like that, but I have to say with SCORE, some of them are retired. And so I find that people that are in the business, working on the business, that are up in trends, but if you're, again, limited on resources, there's also some great resources. So being unstoppable and going, okay, these are things that I need to get, and taking action. Number 4 is a really powerful one. This is more of a way of being in life, and that is treating everyone as if they're significant. And that is, coming from this place of what can I give? And is there a place that I can give first even? And so when we treat everyone as significant, as if they're that next most important person that can skyrocket you or make that introduction, magic happens. When we start, thinking about, well, they drive this type of car, or I don't like when we start segregating in our mind, classes of people or performance of people or education of people, we really miss incredible gifts that there are. So we one of our core things is treat everyone as if they're Oprah or whoever that person is, that if you got in an elevator with them, you would treat them in a specific way. And we just want to treat everyone that way. Yeah,
well, and to one of your earlier points about networking as well, a lot of people go into networking with this thing, well, if it isn't my ideal client, why would I network with them? And instead saying like, who knows who this person will connect you to, who knows what they have of value to collaborate with you on. And I do have to say also, like, if anyone lives what you just said, you absolutely live it to a level I see very few people do. Like right from the first time we met, you were immediately engaged, asking about how you could support. And I feel like a lot of people talk about this, and to actually see it lived and experience it was incredibly powerful. So I can just give you huge kudos for that, or just wow.
Thank you. Well, the part that I do also want to emphasize is that give first. And so I find that when we, first off, we may say, I don't have many contacts, or I don't have things to give. Just giving people the space to be heard and holding the vision for them, you would be amazed at how that is such a wonderful way to give, right? Just being present. But if you're somebody that's an influencer and you know people and you're able to make introductions, like a lot of people say, well, I don't really know her very well, so I might be nervous about making introductions. And so what I say is, hey, I just met this girl and you kept coming to mind. And I don't know if it's a match, right? Like I'm letting myself off the table, but you two need to meet and see what's there. And so I constantly, when I'm meeting with people, I'm always going, okay, who can I connect them to? And I just listen intuitively of who comes up. And I think that if we all show up of how can you give and what can you give, and even in our businesses, like I look at what are things that I can just give people that will help them, right? And it's a powerful thing to live that way, which I know you do too.
Yeah, well, and so many business owners started their businesses because they cared so deeply about helping people in whatever field they're in, whatever way they want to. So it's hard to not get wrapped up maybe in like, oh, well, this person and the money or this and that, all those details. But at your heart, that's why you started a business, was to help the people around you. So coming from the heart is a powerful way to do that.
And it's been so funny because that book, The Millionaire Next Door, and it talks about some of the wealthiest people are driving Honda Civics. They're wearing torn up jeans. Yeah. And it's just like, it's been really amazing for me where I've met people and then I learned later that, holy cow, this is like, I didn't know that they were running these, businesses in every state. And so it's pretty fascinating. So number 5 is creating media magic. And so to me, media magic is one of the things that I had to learn to create early on in business because I didn't have a huge budget. And that's garnering publicity, free publicity, getting people telling stories about you. It's more powerful to have somebody talking about you than you talking about yourself. And so learning how to get your message out, your stories out, whether it be social media is one of the pieces, but there's all types of ways to get things syndicated and if you're advertising, I always tell people, don't just pay for advertising, get an editorial. Like there's ways of having your story told. And so we call that media magic.
Huh. Because so many people's minds go to social media these days, and specific social media trends. And, like we just talked about with community building and relationship, and this piece of people need to trust you. That's how your business starts, is because people say, oh, I respect this person. I believe that they won't, do me wrong. And like you said, instead of just kind of hoping that someone will see that, you have to put that out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really every single, I kind of challenge people. I'm like, give me 15 minutes of your time and I can come up with 40 articles or stories about you easily. Like we all are sitting on either education, community, or human interest stories that really can attract free publicity.
Huh. That's a great way to say it, and a really cool skill that you have.
Thank you. I love helping people tell stories. I think it's really beautiful to find those gifts and talents that they have and getting it out to the world. And with what's going on in the world, being able to stand out from some of the noise, because that's another piece. I like social media, but I also know that that's a lot of noise, right? And so we've got to look at our overall plan. And again, I've met a lot of very wealthy, successful people that don't do anything there. So I also, Lee, I don't know if you know this about me. I'm really big on doing what your heart enjoys. And I know you live this in community. It's like you go into corporations and businesses and you find out those core values of the owner. You're not going to say, well, you got to do this, and it doesn't bring them joy. Right. And so that's a big part of media magic is like, I don't believe in fitting anybody in a box. I'm like, okay, here's the box and look at all these tools. Which one do you like? Which one is going to bring you joy? Which one, because there's many ways to accomplish that goal.
Yeah, well, it's so true. And to be honest, one of the reasons I do this show is because I wanted to put something out, and I didn't love all the ways that social media interacted. And this was a way that I could have just a fantastic conversation with someone and bring so much value to people and not have it feel like a drag or a chore to do. So I highly encourage anyone who is feeling like all of this communication is a drag to, well, speak to you. First of all, maybe get some stories and figure that out, but take that pressure off themselves.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you. Yes. Okay. And number 6, and this is not new. I mean, everything I've been telling you, this is not new information. I basically, when I went to ground, when I first started the business after being paralyzed, these were the 6 things that I did. Right. But then at one point I kind of lost everything in 2008 when things had shifted, and I had to look at, wow, these are the principles that work to rebuild. And now at all of our events and things that we do, we try to incorporate all 6 of these at the same time so that people can really accelerate what they're doing. So the 6th one is mastermind your goals and challenges. And in the book, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, there's a whole chapter on it. I kind of kid around. I say, hey, I think the Last Supper, they were masterminding what's going to happen. And this is how we solve regional issues, statewide issues, global issues. This is how we come together to really resolve things. And so I'm of the belief that if you're suffering with a challenge and you're not able to move it within a short period of time, it's because you haven't asked for help. You haven't, we want to reach out to people and have that core group. And I love, one of my mentors, Bernie Dorman with CEO Space, his thing that he believes every business when starting out should get a vision team. He didn't say a board of directors. He said a vision team are a group of 5 to 7 people where they're going to be there to help you cast this vision. They're going to, they'll show you your blind spots. They'll lovingly walk you through this. It's great to have different aspects of experts and stuff, but I think that each of us, when we have a challenge, reach out for help, get into a community. Like I know what you're doing, find a mentor and mastermind. It can even be one person. It can be your coach, but just know that you don't want to do it alone.
Yeah. Well, honestly, too, that encapsulates so many of the previous points that you've made about collaborators and JV partners are people going away from this idea of we all have to compete with each other to build community. All of those pieces really come together to this idea of, instead of being me versus them, it's creating an opportunity for we that's healthy, that supports everyone. Because it is, no person is an island. As much as you would like to think you can do it all alone, you're not probably going to solve all your problems alone. And needing, I really love that idea of that vision board, or that vision group
vision team. Yes.
Vision team. Thank you. That's coming together to believe in each other, to support each other, to challenge each other. So that is just wonderful.
So just so you know, Lee, the vision team, how he had said it, was just to support you. It's not to support each other. This is different than a mastermind. So this is somebody that comes together to support you and your vision, and they can get together. A lot of times we say, can you give me an hour a month, or can you give me 30 minutes a month? And it's, and you can, some people will do it one-on-one. Hey, if I need help, can I call you? But it's knowing that you have that support that's on your team to help you carry your vision forward. It's all about you. It's really cool.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. That is so powerful. I'm sitting here like, ooh.
I'm on a lot of vision teams and I love it. It's like, and you, Leah, I know you support and help so many people with what you're doing. We're already probably doing this in a way, but we haven't really set up a construct or have people, talking to them about doing, but yeah, that is a game changer when we have those core people that have that shared vision of helping us.
Yeah. When I'm just thinking, one of the things I talk to people about for entrepreneurship is that entrepreneurs unfortunately suffer from more mental illness and mental health challenges than people who work at another business. And I'm just thinking of how powerful that is for your mental well-being, for, how you feel about your business and like the joy you can take from it, to have a team that has your back. Because I know some people start as entrepreneurs and their families going like, well, that's stupid of you. And their friends don't understand what's happening because they're all employees. And just for people to even have that experience of people do care, they do want me to succeed, they believe in my business, that's just huge.
Wow. You just connected a pretty powerful dot. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh my, this has just been fantastic. I do want to give you a bit of a chance because you do have a gift for people as they're making their expert bio. Would you like to share what that is?
Yeah, so that's really one of the things we do with Media Magic is we help put together the press kit. And I found that your expert power bio is one of the most difficult things to do. People have a hard time bragging and talking about themselves. And it's the one thing that attracts higher paying clients and more speaking gigs in media. And I use it with proposals. So, it helps me close 5 and 6 figure proposals. So to me, that is the gateway. It's like the foundation. So I love giving, we have a 13-step power bio system. And so I'm giving that away for free. If you go to expertpowerbio.com, you can download that entire workbook.
That is super generous. It's also in the description, so you can click the link in the description. I want to make sure people can get to this. And you're so right, because that's one of the ways, that's one of our first intros to people sometimes is a description, which on paper, compared to meeting a person, can easily fall flat. People don't want to brag about themselves. They don't know what to highlight, I'm guessing is probably part of it that comes up in there. So thank you so much. That's very generous.
Yes, my pleasure.
I cannot believe how the time has flown. Did you have any last tips or ideas that you want to leave people with that I haven't asked you about?
No, I just want to, the one thing is just highlighting the power of community and what you do, Leah. I'm just feel so honored that, you just really embody this place of giving, and like every single element that we went through today, I've had that experience with you, and letting the listeners know that we have unlimited resources. We have, if you're limited on a budget, there's ways to get free press. If you're limited on mentors, there's ways to tap into that. Like all of these stuff here that we mentioned, it's that place within us of just knowing, and hopefully today inspired you to have that hope to go, okay, I love this thing of like being unstoppable, Lee. And I know that there's times where we're told we can't do things. And I just want to let everybody know that you can. Like, we just have to know, yes, I can. And doing it in community and bringing in somebody like you to help you build community, that will totally, what does it say? Many hands lighten the load. Is that the right, Lee? Is that the right thing? It's like, really plugging into, Lee, what you're doing, because that aspect in a business, if you're feeling that heavy weight, get help.
Well, thank you so much. I'm very touched by that. And what a note to end it on, to bring us full circle, because like I said at the beginning, you are the proof that you can change your mindset about something, see the world in abundance and as something you can do, and just totally perfectly encapsulates the show. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great week. And remember, every thought counts.